The ultimate food habit people ignore. That is the title of today's Kirk Miller Podcast episode. And the habit itself is something that I've spoken about on so many podcasts that relate to nutrition. And the particular habit is, for me, the most important thing that I focus on when it comes to my own personal nutrition. And that is minimize processed food. And if you've listened to previous podcast episodes, a part of what I'm about to share today might be a little bit boring because I'm saying similar things. But the reason I wanted to do a really short episode today on this subject was based on a stat that I saw in a recent article, which was very legitimate, that 50 to 60% of people in America, UK and Canada, 50 to 60% of their diets is made up of processed food. It's no wonder that in these countries, and I'm sure other countries, that we have a global crisis when it comes to people who are overweight, unhealthy, dying earlier, and in and out of hospitals all the time. I genuinely believe that eating less processed food is the number one thing from a nutrition perspective that impacts the body, the health, energy, amongst so many other things, more than absolutely anything. So I want you to listen to today's episode, maybe as a reminder. If you're not quite happy with how you look, how you feel, your body weight, your health, or maybe at the time of listening to this, you're partway into the year and old habits have crept in, you're snacking more. Simply put, you are eating too much processed food. Look on this as a reminder of how important it is to minimize it and avoid it as much as possible. Why are they so hard to avoid? Let's not sugarcoat it. Processed food generally tastes great. It's hyperpalatable food, quite often laid with refined sugar, added sugar as well. So it tastes good. Usually processed food as well has really enticing packets, colours, basically things to market and grab your attention to then go and consume it. The problem with these type of foods is it's so easy to overconsume them because they are hyperpalatable and they give you minimal food volume per calorie so often as well, and they don't fill you up, okay? But honestly, I get asked all the time, how do I stay in shape the way I do? How do I lift as much as I do? How do my clients transform at the rate they are when they've tried many years before and failed? The big thing for me when it comes to food is eating as much real food as possible. That is the first thing we're trying to get people up to speed in our Built to Last program when it comes to food. A close second to that is hitting a protein target, because that obviously fills you up more too. But if I was only ever allowed to choose literally one food habit, I would minimize processed food, and that would come above eating 1 gram of protein per body weight, which I've said before in previous podcasts. I generally think that eating high quality food and real food is more important than optimizing your protein target, because generally speaking, if you're eating high quality food, non-processed, you're probably going to be eating plenty of vegetables, plenty of fruits, high quality carbohydrates, fats, and good quality protein sources anyway. Okay, so if you are stuck with your nutrition, or you're thinking, why am I not dropping weight? Why am I not as strong as I want to be? Maybe why am I not sleeping as well as I want to be? Then have a look at your food. Have a look at the proportion at which your food is real high quality nutritious food as opposed to processed food. And I might sound like a broken record when I say this, but if you minimize processed food, you will naturally be able to control your calories a lot easier. It's very hard to overconsume and binge on real food. Why? It fills you up more. There's less chemicals, or no chemicals, in fact, in real food. And one of the battles that people have in terms of their weight management is managing their calories. And a lot of people don't know how to track calories properly. A lot of people don't want to track calories. If you don't want to do that, I encourage you to just focus on, is the food that I'm putting in my mouth high quality food, or is there too many foods and snacks, etc., that are processed? And you might be listening to this thinking, how do I determine if a food is processed? It's likely to be something that has been sat on a shelf for a number of weeks, number of months, even a number of years sometimes. It will be something that has artificial ingredients, sweeteners, additives. More specifically, if you pick something up that you are then going to put in your mouth and you don't understand the ingredients on it, or you can't even read it, because a lot of these preservatives that make up processed food are really long words, then there's a high probability that it is processed. Another indication if something's processed is that you will have anywhere from 10 to 20, if not more, ingredients going into a product, especially when it comes to snacks. So if you can't understand it and it has enormous amounts of ingredients, then it'll be processed. If it doesn't fill you up, it's likely to be processed. Okay, so if you're looking to control your calories, manage how much processed food you put in your mouth. I generally have a rule that 90% of my food, 80 on a rare week, even on a bad week, would be real high quality food. And I don't track my calories, as I'll speak about in a future episode, and maybe I've touched on before. Okay, you don't have to try as hard to manage your calories. Another benefit, of course, of minimizing processed food, if you're eating more real food, you will get stronger quicker, you build muscle quicker, you'll sleep better, you probably feel fitter, more energized, your gut function will be way more efficient, you won't feel bloated, it'll put you in a better mood. Remember, when a food has copious amounts of chemicals in, it has to do something to the brain. It has to do something to the brain. You watch children at a kid's party and all they're eating is sugar and processed food. Watch how crazy they are after a few hours of eating that shit. And look, I'm not saying eradicate it altogether. Right? I ate enormous amounts of processed food when I was growing up because, fortunately, I love my parents to pieces. They weren't educated on food. Not many people were back then. It was only because I ran around so much at school and played so much football that I probably managed to control my weight. But I know people close to me maybe didn't do that as much and were eating similar foods. It had a massive impact on things like concentration with what they were doing and behavior patterns and erratic moods and erratic energy levels too. So if you are looking to not only look better, lift more, sleep better, feel better, and especially if you're an entrepreneur or someone in a high power position within your career and concentration and focus is key, what you eat matters. What you eat matters. Okay. One thing that I'm just going to leave you with, if you don't know where to start in terms of like your food, okay, whether you have a diet plan, whether you track your calories, you outsource your food, you follow guidelines, they're generally the 4 ways to manage your food. Look at your food the last 7 days. Look at your food the last 7 days and look at each meal you've had and ask yourself, is this heavily processed or not? Go through each of the meals, each of the snacks you've had. So say you had 3 meals a day plus a snack, that'd be 28 opportunities you've had to consume nutrition. How many of those 28 times, or however many times you consume nutrition, is a large proportion of each meal and each snack processed food? If at least half, or maybe even 30-40% is processed food, that will be a strong indicator that how you look is not aligned to your expectations. How you want to feel about your body weight is not aligned to your expectations, and you'll be having energy dips. Notice patterns. And a really simple way to improve that is, what did I do last week? And how can I easily improve that the following 7 days? It doesn't have to be from one extreme to the other. And then also, when you analyze your food, and if you don't remember what you did last week, do it this week moving forward. Track your calories, or just take pictures of everything you eat. Do a food log on a notepad, and then analyze which food or types of food is making the biggest dent in my calories that is heavily processed. And how can I eat less of it, remove it, or replace it for something that is more high quality food? I guarantee, even if you just did these simple steps, you'd, as I keep saying, you'd lift more, you'd lift better, you'd move more, and you'd sleep better. And there are so many ripple effects from these things, of course. More importantly, how you feel about yourself and your body and your health. And that's that, guys. Listen, I've spoken about it so many times, but honestly, if you're listening to this podcast for inspiration, tips, value of any sort, I'm sure one of the things you are searching for is, how can I eat better than I currently am? And a lot of people are putting out bullshit on social media, if it fits your macros and all these products and all these hacks to get in great shape. I've been in shape for so many years. I'm friends with some incredible people who've also in shape for so many years. The one common denominator they have and we have is we barely touch processed food. It makes up a small, tiny percentage of the overall consumption of calories. And I guarantee if you can master this one thing, you'll find it so much easier to get and stay in shape and protect your health and your longevity long term. And if you don't know where to start and you really want to get a grip of this once and for all, obviously what we do inside Built to Last is remove all of the guesswork from someone's food management during the week and at the weekend, because it's not as black and white as me just saying don't eat processed food. You might not know what processed food is. Or if you travel, like a lot of our clients live out of hotels, or sometimes you can't be in total control of your food and you're caught short, you might not know what to choose on the go at airports, etc., etc. And this is what we are absolute masters at inside Built to Last. We remove all the guesswork from how someone eats at home, how someone eats when they travel, how someone eats when they are on their holidays, business meetings, basically where their decision-making might be compromised. We eradicate that risk. So if you want to get a grip on your food management once and for all, it's exactly what we do. Okay, so please do not hesitate to reach out to me and my team, and we'll remove this guesswork once and for all. And watch your productivity skyrocket, watch your progression with your body skyrocket, watch your energy skyrocket, and watch how you feel about yourself, and the quality and consistency of your emotions go to a completely different level when you get a grip on your food quality. Don't be one of these people that are falling into that percentage of 50, 60% of processed food eaters. Okay? It will affect you at some point. It will affect you at some point. It's so much easier to stay in shape. Okay? As always, thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next time.